Hi, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Great job yesterday with your lesson, getting into transformations basics. Today, we are learning something very new. We are talking about rotations. So when we were in person together, we talked about translations when we slid a figure and reflections when we flipped a figure. Today, we're going to be talking about rotations when we turn a figure. Before we do that, I've had many students asking me what I've been up to and what I've been doing for spring break. And I will show you, this is the ultimate peanut butter challenge. These are many, many different types of peanut butters and one with jelly in it. And I figured that what better time than now to try as many as I can. So here's my progress thus far. So all of them that are circled in yellow, I have tried. Do not judge me. These are my favorites right here, and this one. My next one coming up will definitely be the Reese's one. I've even had kids send that to me. So that's what I've been doing for spring break. I'm sure that nobody is surprised. Okay, so back to math. When we're talking about rotations, these are the driving questions that we're going to be thinking about as we go through the lesson. And I'm also going to come back to them at the end of the video just to recap with you and to make sure we've kind of hit our objectives. So number one, what is a rotation? Number two, what are the different types of rotations? What directions can a rotation utilize? Like what directions can it go? And then how did the quadrants on your coordinate plane come into play when we're talking about rotations? Now we talked about the quadrants yesterday, so hopefully we haven't forgotten that in a span of 24 hours because it's going to help us out for today. So hopefully this slide looks familiar to you. It is from yesterday. When we think rotations, we think turn. Okay, so our image is literally just turning onto its side, turning upside down, turning the other way. We think about turning an image on a coordinate plane. Now, it could turn once, it could turn twice, 3 times, and that's what we're really going to look at today. So here are your types of rotations, and I believe that this is either like your first or your second question on your assignment as well. If I asked you to turn something 90 degrees, that would be turning it one time. It's just one turn. It's a 90-degree turn. If I asked you to turn it 180 degrees, that's 2 turns. 270 is 3, and then 360, like if you did a 360, you'd be back in your original spot. So that's technically 4 turns. So just again, 90-degree turn is just once, 180 is twice, 270 is 3 times, 360 is 4 turns. And we're going to look at that on a coordinate plane today. This also might be a good idea to take a quick picture of this. It might help you out. Now, when you talk about turning, you can turn 2 different directions, and we think about it as clockwise and counterclockwise. If I asked you to turn something clockwise, that means that you're going in the same direction as the clock goes when time passes. So obviously it'd be like 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you were going counterclockwise, that is the opposite of the direction of a clock. So if we were going counterclockwise, we'd be going this way because it's the opposite. This, again, might be a good idea to take a picture of this screen because it'll help you with your assignment and it'll help you with the lesson today as well. So let's get into it. Let's give it a try. Take it slow. If you need to pause and think or rewind, please do that. All right, so here's my starting image right here. Let's say that I'm starting with triangle A. Okay, I'm starting with this guy right here, and I'm going to highlight it for you so you can see. If I asked you to turn it or rotate it 90 degrees clockwise, first of all, if I'm turning it 90, that just means I'm turning it one time. It's going over to one other quadrant, the next one. And if I'm going clockwise, I know that I'm going in the direction of the clock. So I'm going to be coming over here, which means that my ending triangle is going to be triangle B. So I started at A, I went 90 clockwise, 90 is one turn, and I went in the clockwise direction, I ended at B. My starting quadrant for A was 2, okay, as you can see up here, and then my ending quadrant where I stopped was quadrant 1. Now, if I asked you to go 180, that would be 2 turns, 270 would be 3, and we're going to look at those again together. All right, so now, very similar, we're still starting with A. Okay, we're starting with the same triangle that we started with over here. And I know that my starting quadrant is 2. Remember, we use Roman numerals for that. Sorry, hopefully now you can see the 2. If I asked you to go 90 counterclockwise, the 90 tells me I'm still only doing one turn, but the counterclockwise means that I'm going the opposite direction. So if I'm starting here and I'm going counterclockwise, I'm going to be coming down to this quadrant because that's the opposite way of clockwise, and I would end at triangle D, which means that I'm going to stop in quadrant 3, and my new triangle is now where D is. Okay, right down here. So I started with A. It told me 90 degrees, which means one turn, and counterclockwise, which means I'm going opposite, so I'd end where D is right here. Now, let's say that I'm starting in triangle C. Let's start somewhere new. So I'm starting at triangle C, and I'm starting in quadrant 4 here. Oh, wow. If I ask you to go 180 degrees for your rotation, that is 2 turns, okay? And I don't really need to know a direction because even if I go counterclockwise or clockwise, I'll get to the same spot. So if I'm going 2 turns, 2 rotations, I'm starting at C, I'm going once, twice, and I land here at triangle A, which puts me in quadrant 2. Oh my gosh. This is not working very well. So I end in quadrant 2, right there. So I started at C. I know that it's a 180-degree rotation, which is 2 turns. I go once, twice, and then here I am right here. Even if I went the opposite direction and I went once, twice, notice that I still end at A, so it doesn't really matter if you go clockwise or counterclockwise. All right, let's keep going. You guys are doing a great job. Now we're starting at triangle B right here. And notice my starting quadrant is 1. If I ask you to do 270 degrees clockwise, break it down. 270 means that we're going to be rotating 3 times. And clockwise means we're going in the clockwise direction. So I know that if I'm going clockwise, it's going this way, and it's going to be 3 turns. So I go once, twice, 3 times. And again, I end here at A, and my ending quadrant is 2. So that was going the clockwise direction, okay? Your assignment will have things that look like this too. So if I asked you, all right, if I've got a triangle like ABC, and I want you to rotate 270 counterclockwise, first of all, I know that I'm starting in quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm starting in quadrant 4. And I'm asking you to go 270, which is 3 turns, counterclockwise, which is the opposite direction. So here's what I would do. I know I'm going 3 times in the opposite direction. So I go once, twice, 3 times. So your triangle would end here in quadrant 3. And that's really the basics of rotations, you guys. You just ask yourself, like, okay, how many turns do I have? And am I going clockwise or am I going counterclockwise? Okay, and let's just recap and revisit those questions that we started with. So what is a rotation? A rotation is a turn on the coordinate plane. You're taking a figure and you are turning it. The types of rotations, we have 90 degrees, which is just 1 rotation, 180 degrees, which is 2 rotations, 270 degrees, which is 3 rotations, and 360, which we don't see that often because it puts it exactly in its original spot, which would be 4 rotations. There are 2 directions that a rotation can utilize, which is clockwise, the normal direction of a clock, or counterclockwise. And when we think about quadrants, we always talk about, like, all right, where does our pre-image start and where does our image land for your quadrants? And I think that that's it. If you need to rewatch it, this might be a video that you do need to rewatch just to kind of get the content once again or to help you with your assignment. All right, so your assignment is your rotation Schoology check. Hopefully you enjoy seeing some of your friends appear on there. It looks like it's a lot, but there's not really math that you have to do. It's just kind of like clicking through questions. Use your finger to like trace on the coordinate plane. You can take it 2 times for the highest score. I did use page breaks on the assignment, so it's like, okay, these questions are grouped together, these are grouped together, so it looks like there are multiple pages. It really is just to help you kind of process through each question. So thank you for tuning in. If you have questions, especially on this lesson, please message me and have a wonderful day.